End of the cat story. So yeah, I was trying to prise the drawers open and couldn't do it. I don't know what the maths of their strength drawer is, and I didn't know what they called a fight stick. Stick down the tonsils. I didn't know about that. I don't think. She was. So anyway, I just screamed at her to drop it, and she did. She fucking did. It's like, what the hell? Why did I not think of that before? I don't know. Probably because you never think it's gonna work, does it? She did. She dropped it. Cat ran down the road, and she was dripping blood everywhere. Again, for the rest of the walk. It's like, I don't know, she didn't care, or she looked like a boss. But the cat actually, I think, was okay, because somebody else told me they'd seen her on some local neighbourhood watch group. The cat turned up, and they took it to the vets and thought it'd been hit by a car because it was bruised. So it was okay. I couldn't really do anything else about that anyway, but that was fine. It wasn't my fault anyway. Really wasn't. There you go. Cats go disappearing, don't they? All the time. I'm not surprised more of them don't. Do you know what? Whilst I'm on the Grim Cat channel, I remember walking another day. This has nothing to do with dogs. Like, there was a decapitated one. Had clearly been hit by a car. That wasn't very nice. I don't know where that come from. That was just down I can't, whatever that main road is, the big main road. This is one of the reasons I said, you know, if I had a cat, I would have a cat-proof garden. I've now got a cattery that I took out of a skip because I had this mate who had a cat he wanted rid of, which is the one that's apparently now gone to live with an old woman. Not only, I mean, I've said if I wanted cat shit in my garden, I'd have a cat. And people do get annoyed. People chill. It's like cows, all sorts, isn't it? Cat shit, toxoplasmosis or whatever it is, making children blind, pregnant women die, and I don't know, everyone ends up disabled. But to keep them safe, it's like they get hit by cars, they go whatever. It's not difficult, is it? To put like a run out your window or something. Like, oh, cats need to do this, cats don't need any more than anything else, do they? It's like dogs were running free not that long ago. I used to walk with this woman when I had my first dog. She was a little bit older than me, and like our dogs were like total chums. They were best boss girl mates. They were. She was like a husky cross German Shepherd. They thought that had like her DNA done, and she supposed it was all sorts. I never know what to think of these things anyway. Some sort of wolf hybrid, I think. But they were such good chums. They played so well together. But she said, like, when she was like, you should just turf the dogs out in the morning. They just go rolling around the roads together, seeing sausages off butchers or whatever, and just come home for tea. Sounds much nicer, really, doesn't it? So it's not even that long ago. It's just people and change, isn't it? And you say, I can train this fucking fish. You can train a cat. I mean, people like us on YouTube as well. People train cats. You can click train cats, can't you? To use a toilet, an actual human toilet. I mean, oh God, I don't know. Everything's complicated. I'm just saying, if I had a cat, I would probably cat-proof the garden, and you know, even I thought about taking it out on a harness, but then it's at risk, isn't it, from other like loose dogs and that. I don't know. I mean, I have. Oh God, it gets too much, doesn't it? Because like, I think I came across somebody walking a cat once over the uni, which is why I used to go and run my dogs because it's like open space. It's the last thing I needed really. But it's because like you have to get used to things, don't you? I saw it before. So, but then I think you have to use common sense. You don't take your cats walking somewhere. You're gonna have off-lead dogs. Would be my fault. But then everyone thinks different things, don't they? Oh. I haven't had any of my dogs and puppies, so you can't blame me. They're not cat friendly. I just take on the cast-offs. They used to call them saplings at the shed, the dog shed. Like teenage lurchers. They get hossed on about 10 months old because like people realise they need training and they've got some sort of fucking tractor with no brain or brakes. Well, it's not that's true, but it's a bit of a journey. They get a bit bendy. They need staking. I think is the joke. That's why they call them saplings. They need staking. Lurcher folk tend to have a dark matter sense of humour, but you have to really, otherwise, I don't know. They're fun though. They are fun. Dolly's a good dog. She is of all the ones I've had. I loved them all. They're all characters, but I'd loved them a bit more if I could walk them without thinking there was going to be a death every time they got loose. When I got my first dog, my first lurcher was like an adult, the first family dog. I was walking like I could drop the kids off at school and go for a walk around the campus. So I don't know, it's a good 10k like walk every morning, but it's like I don't know, it's probably trying to lose weight or whatever. Do something not too I don't know, what's it called? Controversial. I thought I might as well have a dog. Walk with me, give a dog a home. That'd be nice. I like trotting around with a dog, just dreamily at my heels. Fucking hell. I got the beast. I ended up with this pretty looking, there's pictures of her all over the internet probably, with her Cleopatra makeup. She was just on, she was for a rescue, like a local small one. So I just saw a picture, then went over and just picked her up off someone. I had no sort of check or anything. I had a dog before, used to work in the kennels. So like, how difficult can it be? I had a whippet growing up. My grandparents had wolfhounds. My God, went to pick her up. Should have known it was going to be chaos. She had an e-collar on in the picture because where she lives, it was like a gate, like a fence thing. Really nice people, but they were fostering her. They'd taken it off, literally. She said, I just took it off literally just before you got here. She'd hopped straight over the fence and she was tearing around Thetford Forest chasing pheasants. So it's like we had to wait for her to come back. And she was about 11 months when I got her. So you know what? Doesn't having to go really. She was a hooligan. She was an absolute hooch. But she was funny. She's the one they called the Beast. She got called AKA the Beast. The Beast. She was red like the Beast. And she was a monster. She was an absolute tool. She could open doors. She could open the fridge. We'd take the handles off the fridge because she'd steal all the food and the freezer. Like come back and she'd be lying on packets of chicken, like defrosted. She was only a squat thing. She went, I don't think she won any prizes for attractive lurchers. She was the best batterer. She would have been like if we dropped them across the field, like to like lap. She weren't the fastest, but she'd like boot everyone out of the way. She wouldn't have anyone win. She was a monster. She was an absolute monster. She marmalised everything. She was probably a brood bitch. I don't know. She would have been good for something. Dog meat, I think. She was, but she got attacked a few times early on in my early days. So she was temperamental on the lead. She was, and you learn as you go, don't you? So she's my first battery pack, really. She was a hooligan. She used 2 swans she jumped on. She was muzzled by that point. Um, but she was crackers. She was. I did have her put to sleep in the end for, I mean, a lot of reasons. But she was crackers because they call it spaniel age, don't they? Like spaniels, like when they just completely flip for no reason whatsoever. But like I'd sleep because I slept on the sofa for a number of years downstairs when we were living that dream of like, modern relationship. Tragedy. So happy on the sofa with my dogs. So she'd sleep at my feet, and then I had the puppy Nina, which was a staff cross spaniel, I think, on my head. That's how they slept. They got on reasonably well most of the time. I'd like literally wake up in the night and the dog would fly out of his sleep to kill the dog. It's like out of nothing. She was crazy, honestly. She was wrong in her head. And I do remember reading years ago, there's like a gypsy, like a rhyme about horses. And the one I read is changed. Like I read it another time and it was different. The first time I read it, it's like the 4 white paws. It's like you're passing by, you don't ever get a horse with 4 white paws, hooves, socks. I thought, fucking hell, I've got the 4 white socks. She is the beast incarnate. What's just wrong with it though? She was a funny dog. I did say that her again in a minute, but not with other dogs. And she bit me from a finger once. She was mortified when she did it. It was over like a cheese sandwich. Like the dogs, that was the kids, the fucking children again. Hadn't taken their sandwiches to school probably because they didn't want cheese sandwiches or something. They'd forgotten it, expected me to take it up to school. So anyway, the dogs got hold of the cheese sandwich under the table, started scrapping over it. So I stuck my hands under. It's my fault really. And to pull them apart because I didn't really want a dead dog. And put my hand straight in her mouth. She bit from my finger. And, actually, no, my son was at home, fortunately. That's why the cheese sandwich was there, because he hadn't gone to school. He was slacking that morning. Fortunately, he was there, so I fainted. I screamed at the dog, "You fucking idiot." And she literally sloped off because she realised she'd bitten me. She weren't a bad dog. She weren't completely crazy. So she sloped off and got in her crate. And then I had a drama biscuit on the floor. God help me. Help me. Help me. So my son took me to the walking centre and they gave me a load of laughing gas. Stuck my finger back together. Said, what sort of a dog was it? So I said, it's a whippet. Just to ruin the data. And she was always biting the ex as well, but he was mauling her around. I don't know. There we go. Dogs and people. Well, that's the bite gradients, isn't it? So I get irritated when people say, your dog's biting. No, it's not actually. It's not done any damage whatsoever. Because we had to, again, learn about bite gradients of bite. Shocking, I know. I always think somebody's having a surprise when something happens. Like, oh, Dolly's standing on me. She's doing circus tricks. Bite gradients. She did the moon bites. That's only nipping, really. I mean, she wasn't savaging anyone, but I wasn't really going to pass that on anywhere. She wasn't soft-mouthed. Well, she could be soft-mouthed, but she could also... She weren't messing around. Do you know, that's what they said the first time I took the greyhound to the vets. When we first got the greyhound, like the day we got it, she tried to take its throat out. I tried to bring the rescue people and she weren't picking up. So I took her up to the vets and they said, she meant that, didn't she? Well, obviously she did, because that's what you've just said. And then she done it again a couple of weeks later. It's like, well, she really did mean it. So, I don't know. She said, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe get a prescription from the doctors and a couple more dogs. She was created quite a lot of the time. So you learn, you live and learn. Couldn't really pass on though, could I? Well, that attitude. So that's why she's called the Beast. She'd open the oven as well. It's a bit of a stressful houseful. Christmas ham, that was a joke. Like, we'd hide things in the oven. You call them dog safes, like where you hide the food where the dogs can't get it. It's Lurch joke, Lurch a person's joke. And she would open the oven, steal the food out. You couldn't store anything in there. But then there was some other woman said like her dog could open tins out the cupboard, just chew through them. So you just think, kind of blessings really, don't you? It's like, oh well, at least my tins are safe. She'd lift pans off the cooker. Oh, she was a minx. That's the collie. It must be the collie and the cauliflower, isn't it? Doris is a fucking angel compared to that. Aren't you? An angel. I think that's a brick for brain. Completely unstable. She fitted in my end. Fitted my end. Oh, I might as well tell you about the deer since I've started talking about it. Otherwise, there'll be. It was a baby muntjac. Makes it better, doesn't it? 'Cause it was a baby one. It wasn't any bigger than a rabbit. It was literally. I hadn't even seen it, or I would have been wise to it. She'd gone to greet another dog. I'm going to say it's about 5 meters away from me. This thing, obviously, then I don't know. She tripped over it, and it bolted. She literally got it straight away. It started squeaking. I thought it was a rabbit. It's like all these people start going, "Oh my God. What the hell do you want me to do?" I ain't going to do nothing. I've been in that situation before. You get like a floppy thing that you've got to deal with. So I thought, I'm just going to kill it. She's going to kill it and she's going to be efficient. And I thought it was a rabbit. It was squeaking. And then it wasn't. It was like the mum was there and was like, "Oh, sorry, baby's dead." Had a load of people. Thanks, dollies. But it was muntjac. They're pests. Anyway, I sound heartless, don't I? I do sound heartless. But I read back up on them afterwards. They're territorial, and that's why they spread out, and they're solitary. The next day it was freezing and snow, so it would have died anyway. And you have to look at don't you? You have to look at the gift. You have to look at the gift. I cooked it for tea. I'm gonna waste it. Everyone else's dogs eat, don't they? What do they eat? I don't know. Cow winners. Dairy offal. I don't know what goes into your dog food. She had dead deer. Don't judge me, please. It's not my dog. It's not my dog. It's not my dog. Vegan. Vegan queen. There we go. She probably just did it for performance, I think. She's a clown. She's a clown for of idiots. God knows what's that breed, I don't know. Something psycho, I think. Just to keep me on my toes. Right, I still haven't done any drawing. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I might as well have my morning coffee, mightn't I? Look at me. I look about 160. My man baby is going to have to be, I don't know, blind, I think. Love blind as well. He's going to have to be love blind. Definitely. Fish. Dangerous dogs. And projects. aquarium collectors, and listening to stories. Right. I think that's the end of this story. Don't know what to call this one. The end of the cat, maybe. I think so. Cat endings. What could I call it? I used actually, do you know, I still used to work in a kennels. It was kennels and cattery that I worked in when I first left school. It was a YTS. And it was boarding kennels and cattery and breeding kennels, sheep-bred Great Danes, crafts, and I'm the old person, you know. I do know a little thing or two about dogs. Still always learning all the time, as I just explained from my experience into lurcher land. And all dogs have like breed specific traits. They do. And everything's so muddled up now anyway, like a bungabit is a Chihuahuan because they're cute, but yes, they are cute. But they're supposed to be barky. That's what they do. They're small and they let you know when someone's coming to your house. As an example. They're muddled in together, big old mish pot. And they're all fucking crackers. Seriously? They're crazy, aren't they, Dolly? Dogs are all crazy, and you're all extra crazy. So, what are we going to call it? We need a cat themed. Catfish? I'm watching Bluff again now. I think everyone should get one of these. Well, maybe they shouldn't. I don't really know, to be honest.